Hey sluts. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Jeannette.
We're two old high school friends
Current geriatric millennials.
who took different paths.
Living in different gardening zones.
I'm 6A,
And I'm 42D. Sorry, I mean 8B.
but we eventually found ourselves in the same place,
On our knees.
in the dirt,
Obsessed with plants.
ready to gush and bitch about gardens.
Think of us as your green besties.
We're here to talk about plants, but not in the usual preachy, do this, grow that way.
You may know as much as we do.
Or you may not know the difference between choke berry and choke cherry.
Coming to you from Salem, Oregon in the USA.
And a rooftop in Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
We're plant sluts.
We're plant sluts.
Hey,
sluts.
Let's share our garden status updates. John, how's your garden doing?
My community garden is doing pretty well. I have like peppers growing, like sweet peppers, capsicum peppers. Actually, only some of my sweet potatoes are doing really well. They're like the blue sweet potatoes. The other ones I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. They really haven't like grown or like bushified. So I'm wondering whether or not I will actually get the yellow or the orange kind of sweet potatoes. I don't know what it's like where you are, but there's been really almost no rain for the last couple weeks here. So it's been a lot of like hand watering.
Yeah, it doesn't really rain here much in the summer at all. I think we had a sprinkle yesterday, which was the first one in a couple weeks. So I'm always just hand watering everything.
How's your garden stuff going?
Well, speaking of watering, I just put my husband on the task of installing a solar drip irrigation system. Yeah, for the vegetable bed. I didn't realize that they go underground and drip like close to the root.
Yeah.
The stakes go in the dirt rather than just dripping near the base of the plant.
Well, that must be like unique to that kit, right?
I think this one does it that way. So that was exciting because now I think I can use a lot less water. But it is like a bucket of water and it's run with solar on a timer. So I think I'm going to see if I can be the type of person that has a bucket in my shower and brings the bucket outside. And fills the bucket.
Oh, I've seen those in visiting people's houses where they put buckets in the shower. I have a solar irrigation system for my greenhouse, but the only thing is I don't know if this is the same system that you have, but it has a pump, right? Like it pumps the water.
Yeah, pumps it from the bucket.
It's really loud. And it's not. It doesn't really bother me, but it does go off like every 3 hours, and I do wonder if it bothers the other neighbors when they're trying to enjoy their balcony and it's like.
Oh, interesting. I have a question about your beans.
Yes.
So a lot of the things I grow, I kind of think about what's kind of priced at the grocery store, and then I'll grow it myself, like butter crunch lettuce or tomatoes.
Yeah.
Or what's something I just want a lot of. But the dry beans for like stews, I don't get the time and the pain of like growing and then like shelling them when it's like, $1 for 5 pounds. Not really, but like that's like the most inexpensive food. So what makes those worth growing?
The reason why I'm growing a lot of beans this year is because I realized that a lot of the stuff I'm growing doesn't really have a high nutritional content in terms of, it providing you with like the nutrients that you need, like carbs, protein, whatever. I mean, there's lots of fiber, right? Because all the lettuce and kale has like tons of fiber. Yeah. So I think part of me growing beans was to be able to grow a protein, right? So potatoes are my starch that I've been growing, the sweet potatoes and the regular potatoes, and now it's the beans. I'm growing really beautiful beans, if I can say myself. So a friend of mine gave me their stash of heirloom beans, and they have so many different colors and designs, and it's like they're so beautiful. Actually, okay, an anecdote is yesterday I had some people over for a happy hour on my roof. Yeah. And they were so excited when I pulled out like a bean pod, and I was like, look at these pretty beans. Like they went ape shit. Like, and and then I kind of rode on their enthusiasm where I was like, what about this one? Look at this bean. Like they were just so I'm growing these ones that are called Calypso beans, also known as orca beans.
Uh-huh.
They're white or cream white, probably more on the white side with little black kind of splotches on them. And one of them looked like it had a little face. It was so cute. It looks like they've been painted, like hand painted.
Yeah.
And then I have like Barlotti beans, which are like an Italian heirloom variety, which have speckles. They're white with burgundy speckles on them.
Okay.
They're also really pretty. And then I have a whole bunch of others that haven't started to dry. So I haven't shelled those,
Yeah.
but there's like purple ones. There's yellow and cream speckled ones. So partly it's to provide myself with protein and just feel like I can actually grow my nutritional needs. And the other part is just like the aesthetic of it, of having like a jar of beautiful beans.
That makes sense. So you're just coming at it from a different perspective than my kind of like grocery store. And I think everyone probably gardens with their own perspective of why they're doing it, like feed their family or have all the nutrients that they grow themselves.
Yeah.
I know Nathan's brother brought us like anasazi beans from Colorado, or he brings them like every time he goes.
What are they called?
Anasazi.
Anasazi. Okay. What do they look like?
And so, like cream with like reddish streaks.
Oh, cute.
Spots. I don't know.
I want.
Yeah, so I will send you one. No, I can't send you one. The mail won't let me send you anything. Not allowed to send tea and syrup to Canada.
I don't understand why. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe I'll just smuggle the bean, the single bean. But that makes more sense. Now I'm understanding beans a little bit more. And they're so kind of easy to grow too. So it's like an easy success. You have a big basket filled with beans when you really didn't have to like fight bugs all summer. And
Yeah, they're really good. They're not really affected by many pests.
yeah.
And they, if you get pole beans, they kind of grow up, so they don't necessarily take too much space. And in my greenhouse, I'm using it to actually shade my greenhouse. So I'm having them grow up alongside the panels. So it serves like several purposes in addition to providing me with my vegetarian protein needs.
Grapes and grapes.
So my grape is about my garlic. I brought some to my grandmother and I gave her the garlic and she looked at it with like awe and excitement.
Aww.
And then she went over and was like, look at these ones. And one bulb was from my great aunt next door. And the other one was from my aunt, my mom's sister.
Yeah.
One was a lot smaller than mine, and the other one was like minuscule. It was comedic. And so she kind of like laughed at it. That's about the most validation you can get from an Italian grandmother.
Yeah.
So that's like ultimate compliment, So that's my grape. Well, we got an email.
Oh, look at us.
I think this is the second email. No, we've gotten more than that.
Well, some are spam, but yeah.
I was counting that as like email. It doesn't.
Okay. Yes, we have many, many emails.
So we got an email from someone saying that they have a raspberry patch that's really grown big and it produces a lot of berries, but they all have worms or bugs in them. So that's, I guess, them complaining about that.
Yeah.
And they also would like some advice for some people who maybe are trying to get motivated to garden. So this person likes flowers and vegetables, but doesn't have the motivation to kind of do anything with it.
Yeah. Well, let's start with the berries. Mm-hmm. They all have worms or bugs in them. I think there's two things that I've heard with berries with worms and bugs.
Tell me.
One is trying to harvest them before it rains. Like here in Oregon with the blackberries, once it rains, a lot more fly larvae start growing inside the blackberries.
So I have a lot of blackberries, and I have noticed that there's these kind of wormy bugs that come out of them. Mm-hmm. And partly I just put them in water and try to remove them. But the other part of my brain is just like, it's okay. And then I'll just eat them anyways.
Yeah, protein.
Put them in smoothies or bake with them because I'm like, okay, this is just normal. Like lots of things have bugs in them.
Yeah.
I eat bugs all the time.
Yeah.
Like, so that's probably fly larvae.
Yeah, and but there is
Interesting.
something you can do if you don't want to just like jump on the bug train, is soak them in vinegar with
Hmm.
some water and baking soda, and that should kill and release all the larvae and bugs, and then rinse them off and you should be good. I think we have to be comfortable that there are bugs on vegetables, bugs on fruit, right? That's how,
God intended.
yeah, that's how Jesus Christ himself intended.
Yeah, I have noticed that like when I soak them, the larvae kind of like crawl out. Probably they want air or something like that.
Hmm.
And then I just rinse off the water with them floating in it.
Problem solved.
Awesome.
What about motivation?
I empathize with that because I think I deal with a lot of demotivation, especially that part of my garden, the community garden, is about a 5 minute walk. So I'm often not motivated to go to the garden, for various
Yeah.
reasons. But then I end up going in this like circle where it's like I feel very guilty
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't gone to the garden. I know I should go to the garden and I don't go. Then the next day, I feel guilty that I haven't gone. And it's almost as if I want to avoid it altogether
Yeah.
to face the neglect that I've given to my garden. I don't really have a solution. I don't know, Jeanette, do you have any like advice for that?
Well, yeah, I think like you definitely don't want to be doing things out of guilt, especially gardening. So if it's building up of guilt and you feel guilty and
Mm,
guilty, that just puts you like, I know with like creative things like drawing and stuff, like if I'm feeling guilty I haven't drawn, that doesn't make me want to sit down and like draw all day.
yeah.
So one thing I would think for this person, because they said they have a garden, they have like a place to plant things,
Hmm.
maybe don't think about that you need to fill it, like if they have a garden bed or something like that. I also think perennials are great,
Right.
ones that are going to just take care of themselves, and the more you leave them out there, then you come back in a couple weeks or a month or a year and you're like, oh my god, this thing is huge and it has a ton of fruit. Or
Yeah, actually, to add to that, some of these perennials, like the berry perennials, are even better because if you leave them or if you kind of neglect them, then you're just giving food to the birds.
yeah, and they eat the bugs. Maybe
Right.
they'll eat the bugs on your fruit. Another way to motivate you is like, what's your goal with your garden? Do you want food and protein? For me, I've been doing a lot to have like tea,
Right.
herbs,
Yeah.
and like specifically relaxing tea, herbs. And so if you have something that you want or that you purchase for $18 at the farmer's market and you think, I could grow this, that might motivate you.
Are there any herbs that help with motivation?
I think those are like the mint family.
Really?
I think so. They're more like invigorating.
Mm.
So if you have any garden gripes or grapes, send us an email at plantslutspod@gmail.com. Sorry, plants. Wait, what the fuck is our email? Plant sluts. Plants. It's
Plant
plant
Sluts Pod.
at gmail.com. One plant, two sluts.
Time to grab a mug and pick some herbs and spill the tea. I heard, Jeanette, that you have garden tea this week.
Yeah, I have garden tea from Reddit.
Ooh.
I have a story from user named FutureAd4214, and I messaged them to ask if I could read it on the podcast, and they gave me a little update too. So, my neighbor mowed down my entire garden. So, I just want to vent about what happened today. I woke up today and looked out into my backyard to find the entire place was mowed down by my next door neighbor. Now, for context, I own my own row home. We have gates between our yards, and he has never come to me before with an issue about the way I keep my lawn. I've been keeping my backyard a mixture of native flowers and plants, as well as herbs, vegetables, and fruits I've been cultivating since the spring. I completely understand if he thought it looked overgrown, but it made me so happy to see all of the flowers and greenery every day.
Mm.
I had a huge tomato plant with a bunch of green cherry tomatoes growing and a lot of sprawling cantaloupes that had just started to fruit that he completely chopped
Are you
down,
serious?
along with all of my potatoes and herbs. He left a small chunk of my vegetables that were in a container, but cut around them still, so a lot of the plants lost their fruits and new growth. I've just been in shock all day. I don't want to start a fight at all, and he probably thought he was doing me a favor, but I spent so much money and time on seeds and growing the lawn to be how I want it. I'm just very upset to see everything dead today. Again, not looking for advice, but would love to know what others would do in the same situation. And this is on the subreddit Art Gardening. And all the comments are just like crime, arrest him, trespassing,
Yeah.
murder, police report, file charges.
Is this in the US?
I don't know because they say they have a row home. I don't know what a row home is.
It's like a townhouse.
Maybe they call them row homes on the East Coast.
Maybe it's Canadian. That's what we would call them here. This would be like my nightmare. This would be this is the nightmare.
This is like, talk about motivation to garden. I feel like I wouldn't be able to, oh my God, I wouldn't be able to go back out there.
This kind of reminds me a bit of my kiwi vine that my neighbor had cut down without my permission.
And that was just one.
And it was crawling on their balcony, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
This is a complete violation.
I've seen this on Reddit a few times with people who have like native lawns, people just coming and mowing it. But this person's like saying they had like cantaloupes and tomatoes.
Yeah.
After I messaged them, they said, I'm not holding a grudge against my neighbor. He apologized. And I think it was a genuine mistake done by an old man. It was definitely frustrating and I'm upset, but I really don't like being angry.
I do kind of feel when you bring like old man energy into it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's still not forgivable.
I guess it's good he apologized, but I think like I would definitely have them pay.
Pay what though? For what?
That person said they spent a lot of money with seeds and plants.
Right.
And I mean, the least someone can do is either pay or trespassing or just have the cops come talk to them and scare them a little.
Yeah, but do you really want to do that to your neighbor that then you have to look at and face?
I know, that's the problem.
I mean, if I was that old man, I would move away. I'd be so embarrassed. If I really did genuinely think I was helping out, and then it turns out I like killed all of this person's possessions.
Yeah. I feel like he apologized, but really was happy that he got rid of all what he considered a mess. Just having someone violate you like that, I would never emotionally heal from it. My motto is never forgive, never forget. So I don't know, I'd make it even more big, untamed, gaudy next year with a lot of no trespassing signs.
Mm.
Oh, maybe put a sign up this year that says, this was a beautiful native garden until the old man next door mowed it all down. All right, it's time for a plant. Fuck, marry, kill.
What?
John,
Yeah.
what 3 plants have you got for me?
Okay, I have Chinese lantern, bee balm,
Okay.
and sea holly.
Sea holly.
You know sea holly? It's like that flower. It's kind of a globe. It's a bit bluish purple, and it has these spikes that come out of like the head.
Yeah, I see it a lot at Trader Joe's, and I think about putting it in my bouquets for some fun interest. And then Chinese lantern are kind of like those delicate red flowers with a little like shield around them.
Yeah, they kind of hang like a lantern. I think
Yeah.
it's I don't actually know, but I assume it's kind of like a tomatillo.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah, a tomatillo, but like colored and more beautiful.
A decorative tomatillo, unless you can eat them.
Yeah, I wonder.
Bee balm is like a flower.
Monarda, it's also known as Monarda.
Oh,
It's really good for bees.
bees. Yeah, bees love it.
And it smells like oregano.
Oh.
When you remove the flowers, they smell very strongly of oregano because I think it's in the oregano family. Okay, so which one would you fuck? Which one would you marry? And which one would you kill?
Okay. I think I would fuck sea holly because because that
Ow.
seems like a crazy fun time. That you don't know what's about to happen. Now, like bee balm would just be sitting there, like, you know, like delicately rubbing your back. But sea holly, they got all sorts of things happening up their sleeves. You don't even know what's about to. I don't even know. Yeah, they seem
They're
wild.
they're like tattooed and pierced.
Yes.
Yeah,
You don't know
totally.
what's gonna happen. Part of me wants to marry Chinese lantern just for the status, just to like look good. Like, look who I'm married to. Like, this is so delicate and like formal and pretty and fancy. But then bee balm is like hearty, good stock. Like, gets the job done, is there for you,
Right.
and supplies the bees what they need. The bees being our children. So I guess I will marry bee balm and kill Chinese lantern.
Like Chinese lantern is the one that you like see yourself being with, but you know that bee balm is the one that you really should be with.
Exactly. Yes.
Like
That's
bee balm is the one that your parents would be really happy with if you brought them home.
No, Chinese lantern, my parents would be like, "Oh, look at you."
Really?
Well, I don't know about my parents, but people's parents. All right, so for you, John,
Okay, my turn.
I have 3 trees:
Oh.
bamboo, peach trees, and oak trees.
Well, first clarification, bamboo is actually a grass.
You got me. Dang it. All right, I have 1 grass and 2 trees.
But maybe that plays into it. Okay. Like peach. You know like what the peach emoji stands for, right?
No.
So you gotta fuck that.
Okay.
You gotta fuck the peach.
You have to fuck the
It's
peach
just like
tree.
sitting there,
Yeah.
looking at you, winking.
Yeah.
I would kill the bamboo. Well, because it's deceiving. For that same reason that you thought it was a tree. I'd be
Yeah.
like, no, bamboo's not good for me. Like, I need someone who's honest, who's not hiding things from me.
Yeah. And who's not illegal in most states or countries.
Oh, yeah,
and
that's true.
regions.
Also, like, bamboo's just kind of empty, Like an airhead, Nothing inside. And oak, of course, I would marry because it's solid. Honestly, like, oaks are just so beautiful. I'm thinking, I guess, of a red oak. I'm not sure how other oaks, they're like the quintessential tree that you see on like sketches and imagery, where it has this like this very wide crown, beautifully proportioned. They're so solid, you can make furniture out of them.
Yeah.
So kill bamboo, fuck peach,
Hell yeah.
but bring oak home to your parents.
Put a ring on oak because, very stable, very solid. All right, John, so what plant are we going to talk about this episode?
The mulberry.
Here we go round, the mulberry bush.
So what do you know about mulberries, Jeannette?
I think I just said everything I know about mulberries.
Well, interestingly, they are not a bush. They are a tree.
Oh.
This is something that a lot of people mistake because of that song. And I think I'll go into a little bit more of that later.
I planted a mulberry, what I thought was bush. So now I'm thinking about where I put it in the front yard if it is planning to become a tree someday.
Yes. So I also have a mulberry tree in the backyard that is definitely on its way to becoming a tree, not pretending to be a bush like bamboo does. Mulberry is the Morus family, Morus. And there's actually 3 common species that you would find in North America and Europe, which is Morus rubra, Morus alba, and Morus nigra. And that's red, white mulberry, and black mulberry.
The white lavender is also called alba.
Yeah. Alba is, I think, Latin for white. So they're trees. Usually they grow to be quite large, but they're short-lived. I think commonly they live to about 60, 70, 80 years, but sometimes you find specimens that grow until like 250 years old,
Wow.
but they're quite rare. The leaves are really interesting because depending on, I believe, the age of the tree and the age of and the time it is in the season, they look different. So most mulberry trees have extremely lobed leaves, very dramatic, kind of squiggly lined leaves. But sometimes they're also like a spade.
I think mine is spade leaved.
And sometimes you find in between. So you'll have like a spade with a little indent in it on one side. Or yeah, it's quite interesting. So my mulberry tree in the back is like has spade leaves usually. I've seen other mulberries around that have more lobed leaves.
Is that like an oak leaf, kind of? A lobed leaf? Is that a similar shape that you're describing?
Yes, but imagine that it's actually a lot more, the negative indents kind of go more towards the center. So they're like extremely.
Okay. It makes me think of the French lavender denta, I think it was called, because it looked like teeth.
Yeah. Yeah, something similar to that, but rounded, like round lobes.
Yeah.
And the flowers are held on long catkins, similar to willows. There are actually a lot of differences between the different varieties and cultivars. So sometimes they have male and female flowers on the catkins on separate trees so that you'd have like all male tree and all female tree. Sometimes you have catkins on the same tree, some that are male and some that are female. Flowers that are bisexual on the catkins. So they are able to all produce fruit.
That depends on what type it is, or is that just
Because mulberries exist in the wild, but they also exist for cultivation, and they've been cultivated for thousands of years. So
yeah.
it was first. I don't want to say first. Maybe that's not. I'm not completely informed about it, so I should probably avoid saying things like that. But it was cultivated thousands of years ago by Chinese for silkworms, and it was brought to Europe by the Romans, who also were using it for, I believe, silkworms for producing silk. So because it's been, in the wild and cultivated, there's like a lot of different kind of hybridization that happened between them. And there's also the species that I named are actually just the most common ones in our area. There's like 100 different species within it.
Oh, wow.
Some of them produce fruits that are like really long, for instance. Some of them are like a lot shorter. The flowers are actually, in some of the research I did, I found that the flowers are known to burst. I think it's called like catapulting. So they burst their pollen into the air. And apparently it's over 600 kilometers an hour, which makes it the fastest known movement in the plant kingdom.
Oh, wow.
You got to be careful not to be hit in the face.
Now I want to look up videos of that.
Okay, and the fruits are what's called like compound fruits. So they're composed of little fruits that are all kind of bunched together.
Yeah.
And they look a little bit like blackberries, but they're actually tighter and denser.
So are blackberries also compote fruits?
They're compound fruits, but one distinction is that a blackberry is actually an aggregate fruit, like raspberries as well. But mulberries are actually what's called multiple fruits. I'll pause right there because I see the confusion on your face. So the blackberry and the raspberry and I guess salmon berries and all of those in that family have one flower.
Yeah.
And in that flower, there are many ovaries. And those are what forms the fruit, right? The one flower with the many ovaries.
And that's why there's so many fruits compounded together, because there's many ovaries.
Yes. And the mulberry is different in that their catkins, which hold the fruit, the future fruit and the flowers, are actually many flowers, each with one ovary.
Oh.
And then each of the little tiny like components of the mulberry is the result of one flower and one ovary being pollinated, versus the blackberry, which is what you're looking at is one flower that birthed like many babies called druplets.
So it's kind of like Octomom versus like the Duggar family.
I don't know what you're referring to, but I have some comparatives for you.
So not reality show stuff.
Not reality show stuff, but like
go on.
Pretty sexy. The blackberry is the queen bee of the singles gala.
Hell yeah.
She has many ovaries, and she kind of like, imagine she went around town meeting all these different guys on the same night, like a bukkake of pollen. From that night of her like pollen bukkake, she produced a lot of tiny little juicy babies, right? The druplets.
And they all have different baby daddies.
Yeah. So she raises them all in her house. They're fraternal twins, but they don't really know who their daddies are. And then when they grow up, as adults, they're still living at their mother's house, right? The fruit. It's kind of like an Italian family. Versus the mulberry, which is like not into pollen bukkake at all.
Oh.
She's basically the host of an all-night orgy. But the twist is that after they've all enjoyed themselves in like the pollen orgy, they decided to form like a polycule co-living co-op and all live on the same stem.
Yeah. So like the orgy went so well, and they went into this house where the key party, the orgy was happening. They saw it was immaculately designed. Like everything was clean, and they're like, can we all just live here? And you have chickens and a garden. I think we could all just stay together and raise these babies that we're about to conceive.
Yeah, in the same house, of course, and not sharing the same parents or the same mom.
They made all the men leave.
Yeah, I mean, the men always leave.
Yeah.
In all of these scenarios, the men always leave.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
So you put out a Craigslist ad for a huge orgy.
Yeah, like tonight only.
Like couples only, men and women, whatever.
Like no same sex.
Yeah, exactly. This is a heterosexual orgy.
That's why it's Craigslist and not Grindr.
And all the women, when they're there, they're like, this could really work. We're all getting along. I feel like we're all ovulating at the same time, so we're already on the same cycle.
Yes.
So why do I'll help you raise the kids, I'll do the dishes, you do the laundry. I'm really good at vacuuming. Someone else can raise the chickens, and then they all decide to stay together and raise these babies.
It works.
I feel like that would work.
Yeah. Don't get any ideas.
I'm just like, is Craigslist still a thing?
Not in Canada. No, it's not in Canada. Back to the serious stuff, I guess.
Oh, yeah. What are we talking about again?
Mulberries are quite varied since there's so many different hybridizations that happened. Some are super delicious. Like the one I have in my backyard is actually really, really sweet and has a lot of flavor. But there's one down the street which doesn't taste that great.
How do you know that?
Because I harvested them. I'm going to say this. So I actually brought a tarp and I laid it because it overreaches the sidewalk, like over their lot and onto like the sidewalk. And mulberries are notorious for causing a lot of mess. I think it was used for dyeing at some point in the past. Like they're very deep dyeing, like purple and red color. And so I laid down a tarp and I shook the tree and collected all the mulberries and then brought them home and made I ate some and then I tried to make a sauce out of it.
So you went in front of someone else's house and shook their trees for their mulberries.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just clarifying for the listeners.
Yeah, it's so gigantic, Jeannette. Like, and it goes all over the car that's parked there.
Oh,
it goes all over the sidewalk. They're not harvesting them.
But then they didn't end up being very good.
No, they weren't good, and that's probably why they don't harvest them. But mine are like really, really delicious. And I actually bought mine from a nursery that's run by someone who's has a little bit of like prepper energy.
That's what you need in a nursery.
He bred and hybridized this, what he calls a Montreal mulberry. Ooh. So it's super hardy to this zone. In fact, probably like to zone 3 or something like that. And it's really delicious. So it's a variety that's, top-notch flavor.
Yeah.
Mulberry is also known to be a really good plant for fodder. So it grows very vigorously and it grows really fast. Mm-hmm. And people use it to, quickly increase the biomass of their land, and they'll feed it. You could feed it to like goats, and you can actually eat the mulberry leaves as a human being. So once I made a dish, it's a Filipino dish that usually is made with dried taro leaves called laing, Laing. And it's about the only Filipino dish that I enjoy.
How long did you live in the Philippines?
I spent 7 months in the Philippines and I was hungry the entire time because I'm vegetarian. It was very difficult, but there was this one place that had laing, and it was just like my go-to kind of comfort dish. And it's actually not from the region where I was. I think laing is from the south of the Philippines. So basically, I dried the mulberry leaves and then I cooked them in a sauce that was coconut milk, ginger, garlic, a bit of sugar, and it the fact that you dry the leaves and then cook them again, it really has like a lot of kind of chew and bite to it, which you wouldn't expect in sort of like a leafy, greeny, like you would expect it to kind of be like spinach. You know, when you look at it, it kind of looks like creamed spinach, but it has like a good kind of like bite to it. I don't know if it's really something that I would suggest to anyone to eat if they have access to food, but it was an interesting experiment. Back to the common rhyme. Here we go round the mulberry bush.
Oh, yeah.
I have the lyrics. I don't actually know that. It's like, here we go round the mulberry bush. The mulberry bush, the mulberry bush.
Here we go
Here we
round
go round the
the
mulberry bush on a cold and frosty morning. Okay, there's actually, and then it's, this is the way we wash our face, wash our face, wash our face. Then it goes like, this is the way we comb our hair.
Yeah.
So it kind of goes through. So this was actually a rhyme that was created at a prison in the UK.
Oh, weird.
Where they had a mulberry bush or a mulberry tree. It was a women's prison. The rhyme is kind of to keep people on to their like daily tasks of what they needed to do in the prison. So wash your face, comb your hair, brush your teeth, put on your clothes, blah, blah, blah. It still existed until very recently, that mulberry tree that ended up getting diseased and cut down. But this prison today is a prison that has very high profile kind of serial killers.
Oh. You know, I always watch in my historical dramas in England in prisons. They walk around the yard. They walk in a circle in the yard. Was the tree there and everyone walked around the circle and then they went in and brushed their teeth and their hair. So it was like their morning walk.
Yeah. And apparently the reason why it's a mulberry bush is because I think at some point it replaced a rhyme that was called the bramble. It was like, here we go around the bramble bush. And they kept bush in the lyrics. This is just, I kind of went onto like this rabbit hole of trying to figure out the origins of the song. But what seems most plausible is this mulberry bush at the His Majesty's prison in Wakefield, West Yorkshire, England.
They should have a little gift shop with mulberry treats.
Honestly, like you're going to the UK soon, you should just go visit this prison.
Maybe I will.
But there's apparently the UK's most notorious serial killer who hanged himself there in 2004, I think.
Did he hang himself at the tree?
No, I don't think so, because actually it was kind of kept very dwarfed. Like it did kind of look like a bush. I mean, he might have tried, but it probably didn't really work.
I feel like there should be, I wonder if there's like tours and stuff. Like, yes, this is a prison, but come look at the mulberry bush. Well, it's dead now, but.
It's dead, but they took cuttings of it before, and they're going to actually regrow one of the cuttings and replace it.
They should regrow the cuttings in all the prisons across England.
One of the reasons why in the song they mention the cold is because the UK had actually imported mulberries, I believe white and black mulberries for the silk production, but it was an epic fail because it was too cold. I first came across the mulberry living in Vietnam. Actually, there's a common treat. I don't know if I can call it that, where you you take mulberries and you douse them in sugar and then you let them ferment into like an alcohol.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's just like fermented mulberry, sweet fermented mulberry. It's delicious. I mean, I liked it. Had never really seen it before.
Do you eat that or drink that?
You would just eat it with a spoon.
Because it sounds like how you make tinctures, you know, like soaking something in the alcohol and then all the properties are in the juice.
Oh, yeah. And I think mulberry has like quite a few properties.
Oh, we should go into the medicinal properties. Like traditional medicine, people say the mulberry leaves, particularly from the white mulberry or mulberry albina, I think it was, are used in traditional Chinese medicine as like a dietary supplement for blood sugar levels and glucose. People have used white mulberry leaves for coughs, sore throats, fevers, digestion. The branches are used as a muscle relaxant and to relieve symptoms of arthritis and rheumatism.
So would you just take the branches and soak them in water, like make a tea out of them, boil them?
I think you just hit people with them. No. Yeah, it's extracted a different way than you would extract, you know, something from the fruit or leaves. Mulberries also have like antioxidant, anti-inflammatory properties, which I feel like a lot of berries have that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also research that suggests it could have some anti-cancer effects, maybe some neuroprotective effects. You know, it's kind of preliminary research, and I wouldn't, you know, go off your cancer and heart meds and eat a mulberry instead.
Just because of some silly podcasts.
It would be something to add in with those, because I know like blueberries are like the hot shit berry, you know, with all the antioxidants, all the da 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 da.
I mean, I feel like blueberries are already like passé. I hear, you know, aronia berries, haskap.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Keep talking about haskaps. The haskap berry, even I think cranberries. You know,
Oh yeah.
The blueberry is like the orange of the vitamin C world.
It's like the basic bitch of berries.
Yeah, BBB, basic bitch berry.
Would you like to get into the astrology of the mulberry?
Hell yeah, I wanna know that about my mulberry.
Good. So mulberries have a masculine energy, surprisingly, with those sex things we talked about. The planet that represents mulberry is Mercury, and it's an air sign. And so this is another Mercury, like our last episode, and we talked about our Mercury, the planets in our Mercury placements, you and I, where our Chirons are in Mercury. So I didn't want to like get into our charts again.
Right.
So I thought, well, let's read Mulberry's zodiac. Like, let's talk about who is Mulberry according to the zodiac. So Mercury is the ruling planet of Gemini and Virgo, and it's exalted in Virgo. So I'm going to say that Mulberry is a Virgo, and it's a man because it's masculine. Astrologically, mulberries are very reliable as Virgos. Virgos are the ones that have like the checklists. They're dependable. They get everything done. They really keep the group project together. But they have perfectionist tendencies. They can criticize themselves a little too much, critical of others. Don't squint your eyes at me. I am not a Virgo. They're very analytical thinkers. They pay attention to detail, but they also overthink.
Pause, because I do think that they're very dependable, right? As in that they grow really quickly, they're kind of solid, they're very hardworking in that they produce so many berries. And also this idea that they are indecisive kind of reminds me of the leaves, how sometimes the leaves are like one way, sometimes they're another way. They change sometimes in the season, their shape. And so I think that that kind of speaks to that.
Virgo men are known to be loyal partners, devoted, attentive. They like those long-term commitments, and they want to invest a lot of time and effort to nurture their relationships. But they also need a lot of control. They need to control their environment and the people around them. So that can lead to some tension.
I'm just thinking of like the fact that they stain things a lot. So they're controlling their environment.
Do they have a very specific like growing requirement, like soil acidity, or are they very
No,
adaptable?
they're very, very adaptable. They have actually these roots that run horizontally, and then at intervals they then have vertical roots that go down,
Oh,
and they're very efficient at harvesting the nutrients in the soil. Like they don't need any fertilizers. They can grow in any kind of soil.
that's the Virgo man of Mulberry.
I can get with that. That sounds like a good man.
A Virgo man would be a good colleague, in my opinion. I think you'd get along with a Virgo.
I mean, I like someone who's a planner. Yeah. Although I haven't really dated many Virgos, so I really don't know.
Maybe you should, because like the analytical side of their thinking as well, when you question what they're doing, they would like want to have it. They would gladly answer and not take that as like confrontation.
So if you're a Virgo man out there,
Yeah.
send an email
Yeah.
to plantsletspod@gmail.com.
There we go.
With a photo and a description.
And you know, it doesn't just have to be your sun sign Virgo. If you're a rising Virgo or even your moon, I think it would work. You have like 3 chances to be a Virgo. And if hopefully you like plants, or else I guess you wouldn't be listening. Time for jam. So what are we gonna do with our excess of all these mulberries?
Mulberries usually ripen over a very long period of time, meaning that they produce like all for a very long period of time.
Okay.
And so every day I would go out with a little bowl and I would harvest, like, I don't know, 25 mulberries.
Yeah.
And so it makes it a little bit difficult to really do much with them, and they don't really last very long. They're quite sensitive. So what I had been doing in previous years is I would have a baggie in my freezer, and every day when I'd go out and harvest my handful of mulberries, in addition, and also I had like raspberries as well, and like maybe a handful of blueberries. Instead of trying to do something with them every day, I would just put them into that Ziploc bag, and then like in the winter when you're depressed and forget about your garden, you can just kind of pull out the baggie and make pie or some sort of sauce reduction for your turkey at Thanksgiving.
Sure.
We're both vegetarians. For your tofurkey. But you could also dry the leaves and keep them to make your Filipino laing.
That's true too.
As well.
Yeah. Don't forget about that.
So, Jeannette, what is your seasonal reminder for September in the fall?
Well, I'm going to be back at school. So my seasonal reminder for myself is to remember I have a garden. Maybe have some tarps prepared for any early frost or anything that isn't quite ready to harvest before that like potential October frost comes in. And I say potential because does it ever actually frost here?
There, maybe not.
Recently, we haven't gotten a lot of days in Salem that I remember where it goes below freezing.
Wow. Yeah, in Montreal, October is quite crisp. In September would probably be the last moment for you to put some compost down in your garden. I would be careful not to fertilize too much some of the perennials or the shrubs or fruit trees, because you don't want them to put on a lot of growth at this time. Because then it'll damage the new growth. It'll weaken the plant. You want it to put all the energies into their roots. So yeah, just be careful with the nitrogen, and you can put compost on your annual beds of vegetables in, hopes of giving them that last little boost, but also to prepare the soil for next year.
Nice.
So thanks for getting slutty with us. If you liked this episode, send it to your plant friends. Email us with plants that you think are slutty enough to be covered on the show, And of course, please rate, star, and share with a friend so our slutty garden can grow.
Bye, sluts.
Bye, slut. Bye, sluts.
Bye, sluts.